Welcome to another episode of the Kat Mak Talk Show. Hey there, I'm Kat Mak, and I have Carolyn Fornataro with me here today. She is a business mentor, leadership coach, founder of Built to Rise Leadership Academy, where she teaches you to build your brand, your business with longevity. You know what? I'm going to say that word, and out. Without the burnout, because let me tell you from my personal experience, how many times am I going to be burnt out? There have been so many times I've gone, I've done this again. I should know better. Carolyn, you're a best-selling author. Congratulations. You're a best-selling author of the Empower Her Powerhouse Edition. I have read your chapter, and I'm going to say, reading your chapter as I have the other 24 women that have been in this book, this chapter, one word, actually, no, I'm going to say the one word in a second, but it was all me. It was all me. There's a bit in every single person's story that I resonate with, which is why I have my podcast. It is to share your voice, because I know your voice will impact somebody else, will help another person become better, more visible to be able to do their thing, because everybody has a genius zone. So Carolyn, thank you so much for jumping on. I have one question for you to start off with. Why did you decide to write your life away or rise?
This is my second time writing a book. And the first time I wrote about survival because that's what my journey was. This time, this is a very personal journey for me. And it was about me shifting my mentality from a mentality of a hustle mentality in network marketing to one of being a CEO of my own business. Because I always knew that was in me, just I didn't let it show. I didn't let it play out because I grew up in an environment that didn't allow me to really show who I was.
Yeah.
That was
And
my
that comes through.
motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. I can actually quote you right on what you've just said. One word that stood out for me in your story was, and I'd like you to talk about that in just a second as to what you're actually doing right now, embodiment. That flows straight through your whole chapter. There's so many things that I can quote you on. And, straight off the start of your chapter, I'm like, oh my God, this is me. I grew up learning how to adapt instead of how to be visible. I read the room before entering. I'm like, yeah, me. Read the room. I was visible. You then wrote, I hid behind the curtain. I wasn't invisible, but not fully visible. I'm like, me, but hiding, especially when it's dressed up as responsibility, but it comes at a cost. That hit me in the face. And I'm like, that was my story. It's not my story anymore, but that's my story. That's not you right now. And I love the fact that I'm going to pause on what I'm going to ask you later, but I'd like for you to just talk a little bit about hiding behind the curtain and what happened. How did you shift? When was the shift? When did you say, you know what? I'm going to be the CEO of my domain, my life, because I know there are women out there that are feeling exactly the same way you were, and so was I.
Well, Kat, that really was a journey. It happened over a period of time. I was in the box. I was operating in the box most of my career. My career and the industry I was in was dominated by men. And so the masculine, and this is not meant to be negative, but the
No.
masculine decision process, the masculine environment surrounded me. So I had to adapt to it. and know that certain things would not be accepted in the environment, that I would be excluded and, I'd be out. I had to adapt to it and I lived it for so long. But that still comes back, it's generational. I'm a baby boomer and I grew up in an environment where you follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so I did. I followed the rules. And I did that for most of my corporate career. And it wasn't until after I retired from the corporate space, I accomplished many things. I moved up. I was an executive in the company, and I was very proud of the work that I did. But it wasn't until after I left that I really felt like I left that behind. And that stayed there when I left the company, when I retired. And then when I moved out into the real world, I just found myself in a way that just was so freeing, so much fun. I was a fun person, but I didn't get
Yes,
to
and you
really
are,
express myself. So
because
now
you're a
I
great
get to.
person. Yes.
So I started liking myself again and realizing that there was so much in me to give. And that was really why I decided to go ahead and make this shift and bring other women along with me, because there were other women over 40 like me that were stuck in the same box. And now we have an opportunity to come together and to bring out all of that excitement, all that ingenuity, all that innovation, the fun, and just have experiences that are positive for all of us.
Yeah. Because I'm a product of that particular product as well. And at 40, I made the shift. I was you. You're incredibly successful. And we don't disregard the world you were in. I don't disregard that. I think from what I read and from what I know, being stuck in that box or without realizing you're in that box because nobody knows better. And nobody knows until you work it out yourself, because you wrote, your body knows. Your body knows something's off. And being in a masculine, for me personally, it took me a while to understand what I was doing. It took me a while. I didn't know I operated in masculine most of my corporate career.
Mhm.
Building global brands. I thought I was fun. I thought I was you, fun. And I'm like, why are people saying that? But it's me, until I took myself out of the box, just as what you did. How liberating does it feel?
It's fabulous. It really is. I just wish, I wish I had some of those years back, because it was, a long time that I was in that environment, operated in that environment. And at the time, I guess I didn't always realize that it wasn't me. Again, I was following the rules. I'm a rule follower. That was how it was. And I didn't challenge it. I
Right.
just didn't. And it wasn't until you're out of that environment and you realize that you can make decisions, that you can operate independent, you can have the freedom of choice of things, of processes, of time frames. When you realize all of that and you're in control more of the when, the how, and the what, it just energizes me every
It
single
does.
day. Every single day, I just feel as though I have new inspiration. I've got a new opportunity. It's not work. It's not work now. It was work before, because you had, I had to work hard to fit
Mm,
in, to fit the model and to fit the mold. I had to work very hard to make sure that I didn't make a mistake. And I don't feel that way now at all. Not at all.
So if there's women out there that are feeling quite similar, what is one inspiration that you can share that will allow them, that will give them the okay per se to make that shift?
I would say that what I would share with them is that really embrace whatever your passion is. And your passion is not your job. For a long time, I thought my job was my passion and my job was me. And that was my mistake. But once I found my passion And that's what I encourage women to do is find that passion, find those experiences, make sure you have life experiences and get beyond just trying to fit in. And you will find that there's so much more. Your gifts are unlimited, really, as far as what you can do in today's environment. And we're inspiring one another constantly. You inspire me. From the first time I met you,
Thank you.
I was so inspired by your personality, which is as big as all outdoors, but your experience and what you've done as well was very inspiring to me. So I just think we don't have to, be fearful. We don't have to hide from it. We can express ourselves and do it in a way that is positive all the way around.
Yeah. So talk to me about Built to Rise Leadership Academy. What's all that about?
Built to Rise is that truly is probably the one thing I am so proud of now that I've been able to do since I retired. Built to Rise it's more than a coaching platform. That's really how it started last year. And it really has become, and you talked about embodiment, and it really is, I'm viewing it as a development tool and setting the standard. It's setting the standard for women who can be bigger than they think they are, that they can grow beyond whatever limits they've already set on themselves. Our limiting beliefs just will keep us small. And this helps break that and set a standard so much higher and larger for all of us that we can expand, get away from any self doubt that we have or any procrastination that we have. Instead, start being decisive about what we're doing. And again, having fun at the same time.
I love that you've done that. And it's interesting that you say retirement. What? Yeah, right. Okay, let's talk. I'd say throw that one out the window. So, going on from what you said, if you were to look at your younger self, what would you say to her right now?
Oh, again, it's really find your passion. When my younger self was, again, product of the baby boomer generation. And when I was in college, what was I doing in college? When I was graduating from college, looking for a job. That is like so
I did this.
wrong.
I know.
So
I did the
wrong.
same thing.
It was like, go get a job. My younger self, I would say, find what turns you on, what
Yeah,
lights you up, what is the thing that you enjoy. If
yeah,
it's whatever
yeah.
it might be, but find that passion, that spark, and then go live it, go expand on it, get more experiences. The days of working lifelong careers are really over. I mean, we don't do that anymore. I mean, people move constantly, and the days of writing a resume that it had, one or two positions on it or one or two companies is over. People just you want to live your life. You
Yeah.
want your story to be a mosaic of all of these experiences.
That you said that. I love that you said that. I love that you said your story is going to be a mosaic of all experiences. Wow. What a powerful statement. Carolyn, I so appreciate you. I'm going to end on that note. I love that you said that, but I'm also going to close with one of your quotes. The shift didn't come from failure. It came from success. Now, for everybody out there, I want this to land. The shift that you're going to have does not come from your failure, it comes from your success. Carolyn, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, Kat. You
Bye for now.
too. Bye now.
Bye, guys.